want to see anything else anymore. I don't 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 want to see anything else anymore but you. That is when I see. But when I get to the end of seeing, I don't see you. So I stand like I see, and what I stand I must see. When we said this, thunder struck the city. And after the thunder struck, people said, wow, 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 wow,
So we ran out of money.
Yeah. That's fun. It's almost 8, Nick. Yep. I just texted him. Okay. Okay.
Good morning, Pastor Wetzel.
All right. It is 8 a.m. I'd like to call the Brimfield Township Board of Trustees meeting to order. Roll call for attendance, please.
All those in attendance, Mike? Yes.
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 We have a full board. All right. If everybody could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor?
Lord, we know that every community is vulnerable to tragedy, but we thank you so much that in light of the tragedy we had this past weekend on the Dustin Farm, that you kept the family safe, that you preserved their home, kept our firefighters and all those that helped them safe as well. We just pray, Lord, that you just help our community to wrap around them and show them love and support, Lord, to get them through this. And now, Lord, as we enter into this meeting, we ask you to have your will and way in and just help all the business to be conducted in an honorable fashion. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. We have announcements and correspondences. We'll start with board members. Any announcements or correspondences for today?
No. I'm all good.
Okay. Department heads, any announcements or correspondences?
No.
All right. We have no scheduled meeting guests today. Meeting minutes.
We are from the,
Can you give me the date on those?
sorry. March 23rd.
All right. I'll entertain a motion for the March 23rd, 2022 meeting minute approval.
So moved.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
All those in favor, Mike? Yes. Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right. For discussion, are there any changes to the agenda? John, do you have
I
any?
have none.
Mike?
No, I'm good.
I'd like to add under admin, E is in Edward Library Project. And can we, John, do you want to talk about the cemetery project under 2A?
Yeah, we can put it there. Yeah, we should. So it's 2F, right?
2A is in Adam
Oh,
for
we're not doing
cemetery.
that under admin. That's right.
I was going to put it under
That's
cemetery
fine.
since cemetery business.
2A. Yep.
Any other changes, department heads? Okay. Hearing none, roll call?
All those in favor, Mike? Yes. Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. I'll entertain a motion for purchase orders.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor, Mike? I'm gonna abstain. Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. I'll entertain a motion for warrants.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor, Mike? Abstain. Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. We'll now open it up for public comments. We ask that you state your name, address, and limit comments to 5 minutes. The floor is open to the public. Anybody? All right, well, thank you for being here. We will now move into safety concerns. Is there any safety concerns to be reported today? All right, hearing none, we'll move into the business portion of our meeting. During the business portion of the meeting, we ask the public to please hold their comments to the open forum under the For the Good of Brimfield Township at the end of the meeting. At this time, Roy, the floor is yours for the police department.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. I think that's the fastest you ever got to me to start the business portion of the meeting.
We're on a roll today.
Right. Okay. Good morning. I just had a couple of updates for the board this morning under old business. Kindergarten safety school. We are confirmed for that program. That's going to be taking place on Wednesday, August 3rd through Friday, August 5th. We have informational packets that have been forwarded to both Brimfield Elementary and Southfield Elementary to go out to parents of incoming kindergartners, has information on the registration process for that. So the dates are going to be Wednesday, August 3rd through Friday, August 5th. Aligned with that, also, we are doing what we're calling an abbreviated, for lack of a better term, calling it a safety day. This is going to be for some of the students that weren't able to participate in kindergarten safety school over the last couple of years due to the COVID pandemic. So we have a couple of dates that we're going to work with on that. One's going to be Tuesday, May 10th at Brimfield Elementary School. And the second date is going to be Tuesday, May 17th at Southfield Elementary School.
That's good.
And I had a chance to meet with Superintendent Hefflinger and follow up with both principals on that. So those dates are confirmed, and we are looking forward to partnering with them to get that completed. The other item I have for you under old business is just an update for you. We are still in the interview process for records clerk, the records clerk vacancy. We had a couple interviews scheduled this week. We'll be scheduling another group of those next week. So that's still in process for us to fill that vacancy. And those are the only informational updates I have for you this morning.
Has the records clerk position been going pretty well? Some candidates?
Yeah, we've got a pretty decent number of applicants as far as numbers go, a little more than I anticipated. I'll be honest with you, just because that's a evening night shift type of position, and lots of folks can't necessarily accommodate those kind of hours. But we do have a group of folks that we were able to choose from.
Okay, and they were all good with the evening night shift? I know that scared some people off last.
Yeah, we've been pretty, that's been pretty plainly spelled out within the position description, and we're emphasizing that point that those are the hours for the opportunity. So there's some transparency there, no surprises.
Okay. That's good to hear. At least we're getting applicants.
Yes.
That is a hard piece
It is.
currently, so. All right. Any questions for police department from the board?
That's a good picture. He's in the classroom.
Oh, yeah, we did. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm glad you said that, Mike. We were at Brimfield Elementary School. We did cookies and milk with a cop. So we went and had a chance to do some reading. Barbara Hawley, the principal there, invited us in, and we brought cookies and milk with us and went into all the second grade classes where we went yesterday. Got a chance to spend some time with them. So, yeah,
That was great.
it was a good program.
Yeah, it seemed like you had a couple different officers doing it too, right?
We did. Yeah, we had 4 classrooms we had to read to.
Okay.
So we had 4 officers reading, and then I had a couple of officers doing some logistical work as far as getting milk and cookies taken care of for the kids. So.
Do you have any kind of an estimate of how many children right now are in the Brimfield Elementary?
Overall, I don't know.
How
No, I
about
don't know
the
that.
classes that you had? Were
We
they
had
pretty big?
89, almost 90 kids yesterday.
And 90 kids in 4 class, oh my, okay.
All right. Nothing else for PD? All right. Well, thank you for getting the safety school together. I know a lot of families are going to be happy about that. So keep up the great work, and we'll move on to fire department. Craig, what was yours?
Thank you. As we all know, we'll start with Dussel Farms. Saturday morning, we had a large fire in town that everybody probably saw from looking out their window. About 10 fire departments were there. It took about 8 hours to put the fire out. We ended up having 1 rekindle, which is common for something like that, about midnight. So we were back out there, which nobody saw, for another 3 hours at night. They put about 80,000 gallons of water onto the fire. Assistant Chief Goodspeed was in charge of that fire, and I just wanted to say publicly he did a great job. I mean, that was something that he's never been put in place to do, and when you're thrown into a position with 10 fire departments asking you what to do and making those decisions, he did a great job. I couldn't name all of them, but all other 9 other fire departments, I want to thank them too. So they spent a lot of their time and resources. In the end, nobody got hurt. No animals died. Nothing like that. It was all property that was lost. The one question that I have received from 1,000 reporters and everybody else is what started it. Their insurance will investigate and come up with a determination. I would be surprised because of the large amount of damage if they ever really knew what it was. So you can tell from a video I have early on that looks like it started in the northeast corner of the barn, but who knows? Some of the misnomers that were thrown out there, I heard some comments, well, why didn't they put water on it? Well, understand we have a little measly 1,000 gallons on our truck, and that fire is so hot, you can't even get close to something like that. So something like that takes a coordinated effort to get water supply happening, and multiple thousands of gallons of what we call dump tanks, because it's a non-hydrated area. So once you get that going, it's a big bonfire at that point to put out. You protect the houses, the feed store, which we did, and put the fire out, but it takes a lengthy amount of time to do something like that. So
Were there any animals in the barn?
I think they said there was cats, and they were
Yeah, they can get out.
and they have a lot of cats, as any farm would, but I think they accounted for all of them. So
Yeah.
a lot of equipment. From if you pull into Dussel's and you look at the bank area, you usually see down below they had a lot of equipment stored and wagons, and there's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So
A lot of old wagons, or?
I couldn't tell.
I think they're the wagons that they used to get the pumpkin farm. Oh, okay.
Well, there was a big bus sitting there too. Is it gone?
Yeah, that's,
The bus is melted.
Oh.
That's all over.
It melted the siding on the house. I mean, overall, the barn burned, but there's damage to every structure on the property. But they do have insurance, and I'm sure they'll work that out, so.
Okay. Well, do we do
Maybe
an
restore it.
accommodation letter to good speed
Neat barn.
services?
You ever in there?
It would not hurt.
47.
You're correct on that. So.
Okay.
I'll field any other questions from
I have a
the
comment.
board.
I
Yeah,
just want to, because I made it up there. I was actually on the scene there. I know the questions came up that they didn't have enough water. I want to say, hey, they did a great job with those. What are those called? Those
so what we do is, excuse me, frog in my throat. Let me go back. I was not there. I was in Columbus
Oh,
at Fire Academy, so.
But they were running those trucks as fast as they could go. And
Well-
there was like 4 of them coming and dumping water. And as soon as they filled up that whole thing, it was gone. I mean,
What we do is we have dump tanks on for the non-hydrant areas. Those hold 3,000 gallons each. They ended up having 3 set up. So eventually you get to the point you have 9,000 gallons available to flow.
So how much does a big tanker hold?
3,000.
Yeah, because
So-
there were trucks just
So
coming in.
you
and
go
out of
around,
there.
you
They were-
fill, you dump it in the tank. You go around, you fill. I know there's hydrants down in Beechcrest area, but if you think about that, only have 1 tanker from each township typically.
Mhm.
So it's not like we could just hook to 50 hydrants and get all the water. You don't have the trucks to do it. 2, supply and demand. If you're running out of a 4-inch line on a hydrant pulling 80,000 gallons,
Mhm.
I just destroyed the neighborhood's water. So,
Oh, no, I think
so there's reasons why we do what we do.
I think they did a very good job. I just know
And
some
that-
people were wondering why they ran out of water at certain time. I mean, they had as much water that they could get.
We
there.
never ran out of water.
Yeah.
So,
But they were pumping. I watched truck after truck coming in there and emptying and filling those things, and they used a lot of water.
again, I think the initial thing is people think, well, why aren't you, well, my little 1 3/4 hose isn't going to do anything until I get big water. So yeah, it takes a little bit of time
Right.
to get something like that. On tactics on something like that, again, is we're not putting water on the fire. We're cooling the house in the feed store to save that.
Right.
So tactics, when you initially start.
Did we lose a lot of equipment?
No, we lost a couple pieces of hose and I think a nozzle, and then another township's truck ran into another truck. I don't know why, but had a little damage there. But other than that, on a fire that size, that's pretty good.
Okay.
So, because like I said, there's 100 people running around and coordination
How
efforts.
old was that barn?
I don't know. Chick would know. Their family owned it.
I heard it was 1847. Is when that was
That's
built.
very possible. At one time, it was the second largest barn in Portage County. So
It's a big loss.
When did your family own it?
up until 1927, that's when they left there. I don't know for sure exactly when they bought it. I think it was off of around probably 1898, 1880.
Your family owned that for a while? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Huh.
They, my grandfather ruptured a vertebra in his back and they had to sell it. They sold it to 2 brothers called Wetmore. And then they sold it to Dussel, had to be in the 50s, I would guess, early 50s. Floyd and Charlie Wetmore. Floyd Wetmore shot his brother and killed him accidentally. They were shooting rats in the barn, they shot through the siding and they hit his brother. Yeah.
Do I have any other questions from the board that I can answer?
No, I think you guys did a great job. I believe there was 2 fire departments because of our construction, we weren't able to wash and dry hoses, so they took those.
Yeah, actually, Suffield took care of the hose and Ken, and we already picked it up from Suffield, and we bought him pizza and stuff. So.
Well, special thank you to them because with our construction, that's hard for them to do that extra work.
Right, yeah. So as we have that, we have no gear washer, we have no hose tower, we have nothing. So we're at the mercy of other fire departments still helping us above and beyond the actual fire. So, but I would say this for anybody, and I would speak for other chiefs. That's kind of what we do. It's an agreement that everybody works together when it comes down to that. So,
Well, it's appreciated for them.
yeah. So that only other thing is if you get reporters calling and we don't know the cause. So if you go ahead and say that insurance, that's what their adjuster will start looking at. We don't go out and do that.
Did Talmadge respond?
Talmadge did not. They were held back for any other emergencies. So we look to see who we can hold back in case everybody else in the county is out and we have a med call. So we have to hold
So
somebody
were they
back.
handling our med calls that day?
Actually, we handled our one and yeah, they helped with the rest.
Okay.
So,
Good.
so somebody doesn't get to play sometimes. So, so you're trying to look 3 steps ahead is what I'm saying.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. With that being said, as I said, you know, when I leave town, I always say the big one's going to happen, and you don't really think it is, but it did. And I was down in Columbus with 6 of our, 6 of us, all of our new guys, for an Essentials of Firefighter Attack class, which went very well. I was very proud of how good they did. You go down to the Ohio Fire Academy. Why we go down there is typically free. The state of Ohio pays for it through grants, and you get a lot of experienced Columbus firemen that do the classes. So it's very professionally ran. So we were down there this weekend and completed that class. So we were getting our butts kicked down there, and the rest of the people up here were getting. So it was a busy weekend. So we were down there doing that. The station, as you can see, you're actually going to start seeing what I call the castle, starting to look like the castle coming up. You'll see what was initially done as the rear stairwell. Now the front stairwell will come up. Questions of being, well, why is the front bigger than the rear? Because that will hold our town bell. So there's an additional, not quite story, but where the town bell will hang.
But that's where the hoses would be too, right? No, where
And
the
then,
hoses?
and then beyond that, you'll see a 3rd tower come up, which will be our hose tower, and training tower and stairwell. So there
You
will
want to
actually
tell
be
us
3
about the
stairwells.
bell?
Well, yes, the bell. One of the original thoughts, and when we started this was, I guess I'll say my thought because it was I wanted to preserve some of the township history. So we approached Kelso House for the town bell. They met at a board meeting and agreed to give us that in lieu of housing it for hopefully the next 100 years. So we'll put it in the front tower. The idea is it's lit 24 hours all the time, and you know, kind of centerpiece. Right now it sits outside, out back, and I wouldn't say withers away because that thing's solid as. It was made. It was built to be outside. It was built when things were built good. So, but
Yeah, when was that built? I didn't even notice that there's
there's a plaque back there
There's a plaque.
that I would have to look, but you're early 1800s
Yeah.
also. So,
I think we need a town contest for the bell ringer.
right,
To show up every Sunday.
right.
Walk up all those stairs.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, the county shut me down on ringing the bell because it has to be closed off at the top for fire code and some other things. So
We have to ring it at least.
we'll figure out something.
Well, you can't stop anybody from bringing it.
Yeah, I'll bring my hammer.
I can't get up there though. So.
Oh, I thought somebody could
You can't get up
bring
there?
it.
What would be cool though, I'm assuming, is as soon as they get the block up and they get the towers up, they'll put the bell in. So that'll be one of the first things you'll be able to see before any of the other structure. They want to get that up there pretty quick.
That's great.
So you'll see that hanging up, I would think, in the next month
Wow.
at least. So.
And there's gonna be a lot of lighting up there as part of that design too. So I think, because we went with the LEDs, so we could color code or change the colors up
That's
there around
good.
the bell. It'll look real nice.
Cool.
I will start, as I was talking to Mike, I wanted to do some Facebook posts on that, but I actually wanted to be able to like show something come out of the ground before I just post a pile of dirt. But we're getting to that point, so I'll do something on that.
Yeah, because you and I will get about 30 likes and he'll get like 400.
Right.
Right.
They're not even looking at the post. Oh, there's Craig.
Yeah, so it's coming, and I heard other comments say, "Are you sure that's big enough? Just wait till the block comes up. It's going to look massive. It'll be big enough."
Yeah, but when you do it, make sure you do mud and brick and everything. So they
Yeah. Oh, I got.
don't sugarcoat it. Make it look.
I continued. I got 200 pictures already, so I take them every week,
Right.
so I can look back and
We're doing live video.
so yeah, and I can do that too. Really, for the fire department, that's it. So there's no more questions.
Cool.
Okay, I'll move into admin.
Yes.
One of the things we need to discuss, and I was tasked was finishing the soccer field project, which funds, I believe we were going to look at the AARP funds. But that's your guys' decision on that. I was tasked bringing back quotes to you. As you see on there, and this is kind of generic because I have the full quotes in front of me, but I did reach out to 3 fence companies as tasked. Two responded as of now, not saying the third won't. Pavilion quotes, I received 2 on those, and I got a driveway roughing quote. So going back to what that would be is coming off the east side north, the street over there, we would bring a gravel drive in to the pavilion area and then gravel drive from there to the storage unit. So people can come in, or, you know, if we end up holding bands, they can back vehicles in and not come across our grass. So that's a piece that we need to probably
So how do you
start
have
with.
them all broke down? You have them broke down?
I do. And I don't have exact numbers, but I have rough quotes for you. The driveway rough in will be about 14,000 total. That would be the cut in, the 3s and 4s, and then the finished gravel.
So the drive-in's 14,000.
Yep. And that would include, again, the gravel start, finished gravel, curb cut, and they have to gravel under the pavilion.
So we have 14,000 for the driveway.
Yeah, don't write down your own numbers because she wrote these wrong. Going into the pavilion, we have a couple things to discuss, but I think I was guided toward the heavy timber look. So that's what I focused on, the heavy timber look. I ended up getting 2 quotes back. One was 35,000, one was 48,000.
Okay, does that include any kind of brickwork or anything?
That does not.
Okay.
That is the pavilion only. But if we're talking a very large, a 30 by 40, I mean, that's a big pavilion.
I mean, if we're ever going to get this town center going, we got to create.
This will be
We
nice.
got to create a
This
town
is-
center.
First class?
Yes, and actually, I think I brought a picture of what it would look like.
Well, you know who's really like this is Dick Messner, because he was always pushing that town
Yes, he
center
was.
concept.
This is, there's a couple different looks, but they look similar to something like this, but that's about a 10 by 15, and we're looking like a 30 by 40, so
That's like
it would be quite a bit.
twice that
It'd be
big.
quite a bit bigger on the look.
Wow, that's pretty.
Again, your other styles are your basic park pavilion, which is very basic, which we decided we didn't want. And then,
Does this one have
Oh,
a
yeah, let me
cement
see that.
floor
Oh,
in
sorry.
it? It will eventually, okay.
That's pretty. Excel Insurance Agency.
So on the fencing, what was the rough quote on the fencing?
okay, so then the fencing came back and they were very close to each other, would be around 25 to 28.
30 by something.
And
30
that,
by what? 30,
I'm sorry, what?
30
30
by,
by 40.
30 by 40. And then,
Sorry.
we'll talk about concrete in a minute, but the concrete would exceed that
okay.
outer. Then your fencing to include a fence that would go all the way around the property except for the north side, including 6 gates and a swing gate, was 25 to 28,000 total. And that would be a 4-foot black vinyl fence.
Okay, so rough estimates right now, this entire project is at 74,000 without the concrete work and the electric tie-in.
And then you have about 4 more things to accomplish, which would be, we do have the electric and the water over there, but getting actually electric outlets ran into there will be a cost that I do not have a concrete floor underneath, which would be roughed and ready, but I do not have the quote on there. And then we have to paint the storage unit yet. And that would pretty much cover everything.
The additional brickwork too.
Yes, if we want additional brickwork on something like this, you're pretty much looking at the columns.
Yeah, just the base of the columns like we showed in that one
Right.
picture.
Right.
So what kind of time do they have on putting the shelter up? Is it material shortage or?
The fence guy needs to know immediately to order.
But I
And
mean,
he
like
said
the-
I can do it whenever, but I need to get the order in.
But the pavilion,
Pavilion, I have to follow up with that, from the two I had was midsummer, but that was a week ago. So, I mean, again, as soon as I let them know, they'll be able to jump on that.
can't even get that done. I mean, you think
It's going to take the majority of summer, but it's okay because it needs to dry out a little bit.
I mean, would we be able to use it for Brimfest if we want?
Oh
to?
yeah, I expect everything to be done by mid to late summer.
Because that would definitely change the footprint of the festival.
Well, we want it ready for Brimfest, and I'd like to see it ready for, because we told them not to play fall or spring soccer there, so the field could regrow its
Right.
roots. So that would give us a grand opening for the soccer season and get all the field kids back there.
Be big.
Yeah. So,
That'd be the
but to
first.
do that, we got to get moving sooner than later on.
I know,
obviously.
this is the first real building block.
Yeah, just
I mean,
officially starts town center
All
as
we
we talked
really,
about.
yeah, all we have is Pizza Hut. So,
John, we had talked about this being ARPA funds. How can we proceed with this? Would you be okay with us setting aside 100,000 in the ARPA funds for this project and just let Craig start signing off on that? Because that would get us all the projects moving. At least we can start scheduling contractors.
Yeah, out of that one, I just don't want to guarantee any of the other projects until we talk about all of them.
Right.
But this one, that's not the big one. So,
Right.
So, I mean, because my answer to that is, we can go ahead with this, but the other 4 ideas, I don't want to do anything with those until we decide what we're going to do with all 4 of them.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't want, this is just because this one's on now, we have executive session on 2 other ones because they're contract related. Do you want me to, if I make a motion on this, do you want this motion in the ARPA resolution?
Yes, we have to do it in that because that's the only way we're able to spend it, but I don't have that.
I have the resolution language here, so I can read it and then
That's
send
fine.
it to you if that works.
That's fine. I just didn't
do we
have it
need
here
to
with
do
me.
one for each project?
Anything that we spend out of that, we have to do.
No, I mean, do we have to do a separate one for the fence, a separate one for the?
We would probably have to do one for the fence and then one for the pavilion. We'd have to do 2.
And then, the other one was the driveway.
Well, no, it says the township is elected the standard allowance.
Okay.
We have resolution.
But not the fence though.
Okay. So we just need to.
We could just, if you want to do this too, we can, but it says the project will not exceed. So we just put a not exceed number in there. So we can say not exceed 100,000 and then you can draw off of this.
Well, but
Is
that's
that-
not gonna cover that's not gonna cover everything. The fence,
We're at 74 with everything before we do the concrete work.
yeah, but before we do the concrete, I thought that was where we were going with the 100,000 for that, which wasn't including the fence.
No, that includes the fence.
It does include it.
Okay.
I do
So-
not have included in there, sorry, the concrete, the outlets stub in of the electric.
So water, electric, concrete, and additional brickwork are not in that.
In that 74.
Correct.
So this just gets us the shelter with no
So-
floor.
174 gets you that with no floor. That's why I'm saying we would set the project up to not exceed 100,000, which gets him the money to do the concrete.
That's fine. If you want to put them all together, we just do it.
Just
as the
do it
soccer
as
complex.
the park project, the town center field park project. That's how we would label that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Not to exceed 100,000. So that gives you a budget to work in, Craig, so you can start scheduling.
Right, and
whatever you
I
need
want to say again, we are looking at higher quality stuff here. That's why we're seeing that price
And while we're all talking about this, we need to get a sign up there,
for
Town Center Park.
town center fields.
We need to do that.
Yeah,
Well, then Sue
that's it.
Fields is gonna think we named it after
Yeah.
her.
She did.
Name that
She already
after
said
me.
that.
We named it
Name
fields
after
because
me.
it's field.
Yeah.
It's a soccer field.
Town Centers.
Town Center Field.
Well, if this is
Town center
approved, I'll work
physical.
within that budget to do those things
Okay, well,
also.
we need to get that, because I mean, that'll help brand the town center.
Right.
So,
But maybe just a simple plaque on the front of the pavilion.
well, just, as that corner, when they drive by, just put it there.
We can get a sign put on the fence too.
Right.
Need
Yeah,
some
just,
option.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, anywhere, just so they know we have it. Okay.
All right. So to get us started so we can discuss, I'd like to make a motion whereas this date of April 6, 2022, I move to the adoption of the following resolution where the township has received a distribution of monies, the ARPA funds from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Whereas Congress passed the act effective March 11th, 2021, and whereas Section 603 created the Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, which among other things appropriated monies to cities, non-entitlement units of local government, and counties to mitigate the fiscal effects streaming from the public health emergencies with respect to the coronavirus disease, COVID-19, and whereas Section 603 generally provides use of funds subject to paragraph 2. Now, wherefore, the township elected to use the standard allowance by way of resolution and its presumption of revenue loss due to the public health emergency, and to use the amount authorized herein to fund government services. This project is hereby authorized and shall be paid from the ARPA funds in the amount of an amount not to exceed $100,000 for the Town Center Fields Park project. I need a second for
I
that.
will second that.
In discussion, my opinion is that I'm very appreciative of this money, that it's not coming from the taxpayers, but the benefit to the residents will far exceed. And this is also a dream of Mr. Messner's to do this town center and make this a focal point for our people. So I'm really pleased we're able to do that.
It's a great thing.
If I could, I would reiterate that is money that is not taxpayers' money, and was specifically, one of the main things was for parks. So
Yeah. There's
So this-
restrictions.
this
There's a
fits
lot
in
of
well.
restrictions on how the ARPA funds can be spent. They cannot be used for the bulk of the work we do, such as salaries.
Yeah.
ARPA funds were strictly deemed they cannot be used for salary funding at all. That came from the feds. So we have to work within what the Federal Reserve has set for our use of dollars. So this is not a Brimfield tax. This is actually federal grant or federal funding that we received.
it's a good point.
Anything else on this?
It's a
Well,
great
since
thing.
Mike is the liaison for the Parks and the Recs, I think he should make the motion, and Nick can do the second.
But we have a motion and
Yeah,
a second
there's
on
already
the
one on the
floor.
Yeah.
All those in favor? Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, I will be working on that right away.
Okay.
Well, I have been working on it. I just gotta make the phone calls now.
Keep us updated.
Okay, only other thing for admin from me real quick is just a update on the, what is it called? E-commerce on the website. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Yes, e-commerce, $1,690 of total funds have already transactions, 11 transactions has come through since we've added.
How much? 16?
1690.
Yeah, one does. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So people are pleased with being able to use a credit card. So just give an update on that.
It's so much easier.
Right. I mean, let me go out on a limb real quick. Everything, as I call and buy stuff now, people are not even doing that 30 anymore. They want a credit card. A lot of people are telling me no invoices anymore. So this is
Actually,
just the way it's going.
$2,015 now.
Is it? Good.
You like it, huh?
Well, just to kind of give you guys a heads up on that, I've been working on 15 other things. That money's still sitting out, and even though Brian's given me everything to do to switch it to our bank account, it's just still sitting in Square right now. So, but we'd have to pass resolutions to use it anyway, but the budget commission. So it'll be, hopefully this week, it'll be all transferred out of the Square document into our checking account.
It's good.
That's all I have.
How many other townships have e-commerce?
Moving up in the world here.
Leading the way, leading the way.
We do have library project yet to talk about under admin, and I do need to amend the agenda. I would like to talk about human resources HR as part of this too.
Where are you putting that?
That's gonna be under admin F. So
you're making
motion,
motion.
motion to agenda amended to talk about human resources.
I'll second.
2F.
Yeah, 2F is in Frank under admin. I forgot she had sent me some stuff for the board.
All right, all those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, library project update. I'll just give a basic synopsis to the board. We do have executive session on this to discuss. Portage County Library District was here last trustee meeting and approached the board. Because of the recent passage of their levy, they are now being funded by tax dollars beyond their normal disbursement from the state, which is allowing them to open a new branch in Portage County. They've evaluated the area. Their number one pick for a new branch would be Brimfield Township. But to be able to open a library in Brimfield Township, the agreement would have to be, we'd have to provide a building for them. They would pay all utilities, staff, books, all of that. And in return of us giving them the building, they would keep the library open 6 days a week, 8 hours a day, and they would offer community services beyond just book uses. They would allow they would hold children's reading programs, job search programs, computer training pieces, and just open that up as additional services for our community. Right now, we don't have an empty space per se in the township for them. I did locate one building that is currently for sale that would fit the bill of what they were looking for and still provide additional spacing for the township for their summer programs that we've talked about, adding a summer camp in 2023 or 2024.
2023.
Yes, I'd like to see 2023 would be my goal. So this building would accommodate both a library and a summer camp for kids to attend through the Parks and Rec department. So that is what the executive session will be for today, is to discuss the potential purchase of that building, the price of that, and what options we have out there. Questions from the board on that library green space?
I'd like to wait till executive session.
Okay. So I just wanted to give everybody an update, but put it out there so the public knows that we are looking at
If
that
you do it
piece.
the
and
right
rep for
way,
it.
it'd be a great, another piece for town center.
Right.
We still need that microbrew, so
That's,
we put a microbrew in half of it.
that's not big enough for that. There's potential lot somebody could buy and put a microbrew, Mike.
Why does Brimfield not have a microbrew? Mike, why does they not have a microbrew?
Yeah, why do we not have Top Golf yet?
That's what I just thought of that this week.
There we go. Top golf and a microbrew will come next after the library.
You throw your back out.
I mean, a few microbrews would make town center.
A hop in place.
Ah.
Right.
All right. So that's the update on the library project where we're at. We're looking for
Check if you can get your
locations.
Scooter down
That moves us into F, human resources. The board should have received a copy of the information via email about the human resources department, that she is going to give us a quarterly report on all the work that she has accomplished, which is in there. The one piece that she did bring forward and would like support from the board on is, as she looked at our strengths and weaknesses, we knew one of those weaknesses going in was our human resources manual. Her recommendation is there's a lot of areas that need to be updated. There's also some policies that are lacking, and we should bring this all under one human resource policy for the township. So what she would like to do is work with each department head to make sure that she's meeting all their needs in the development of this, and then bring it back to the board for final acceptance. But what she wants to know is that that's the direction the board wants to go with this HR manual.
Well, we have to. I mean, that's what we've been talking about. So I agree. I mean, it's gotta.
For a year and a half,
Be
we've been
good.
trying to get the manual done.
I
We
know
can get it
everything's
done.
just-
Well, she said, do we want separate manuals, or just we want to bring everybody under one manual?
We're all Brookfield Township.
Yeah.
I think one manual is, that's my opinion, is
Gotta
one
be
manual.
fair, firm, and consistent.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then we would charge her to work with each department head to work with you as she goes through the policy updates. Board has nothing to do with it. We're gonna let you guys work for what works for your employees, that stays within the rules and regulations of the laws, and then bring it back to the board for
So
final
we'll-
approval.
Will she come and actually sit down with us and go over things, or?
Yeah, she'll come into any board meeting we want her to.
It'd be nice to, once she gets digest enough, it'd be nice to have her come talk to us.
And she sent, and I sent it to everybody last night, a 3-page document on the review
I
of
just didn't have a chance to read it yet.
Yeah, but she high leveled, she says, here's your high priorities, medium priorities, low priorities. Here's the biggest risks we have. And then she has found a way, because we need to get some training updated too. Roy, she wants to work with Power DMS and just do some quick PowerPoint pieces in there where people just watch it and sign off on it. So I said to work with you and Brian on getting into Power DMS. But I think that's the easiest way we make those training check boxes. And she'll develop that training for us so that we don't have to develop it. And that'll bring us back up to
Well, and again, just to reiterate that the HR manual is going to coexist with our union contracts that we have out there.
Yeah,
So any of our union contracts are going to be first and foremost how we handle those certain union employees. Anything that's not addressed in the union contract is going to fall to our HR manual, and then all non-union employees will abide by the HR manual.
yeah.
So that's the understanding we all had, that's when we incorporate it all into one, that's how it's gonna. So we're not really affecting the union contracts where it's just on the outside of their actual union contract that's in place.
But it's bringing us all under
Right.
updated pieces because there's a lot of language in there that needs to be.
No, I
changed and
agree.
updated.
With anything that's not addressed in the union contracts and non-union employees, all needs to be the same across the board for everybody.
Craig, how many employees does Brimfield Township have
59.
now?
59.
59? Okay, so an updated, concise
We're getting part-
Handbook
too, though.
is
No,
really
we'll get
needed
over
to
60.
coordinate all those people.
Yes, we are very out of date.
59.
We're out of date.
Oh, we are out of date, okay.
Well, and she's also, as part of this, is she's building. So as part of this, she's adding processes too. So for example, when we have the FMLA cases, she will have a designated process for Roy, Craig, Dave to follow so that we know step by step, this is what we should be doing so that we
100%.
don't have issues. So it's not only a policy manual, but she's building processes as part of that also.
Well, and I know that's our biggest goal that we had with doing our employee contract is to get everything, because unfortunately myself and Craig as got 500 other things we got to do. You can't be an expert on all those.
I do have a comment for Danielle for Mike and Sue. She's up there on Thursdays at the fire department. You should come meet her.
Okay.
Very nice.
She been very receptive to whatever you guys.
Oh, yeah, she's really nice lady. And
Danielle?
she's gonna do a good job for us, but what she would say to me on like day one and what we remember how we hired this is she doesn't want to be here for a long time. That's not their job. She's to build the policies in place for us to have. And then when we say we're good, she moves on. So we need to take advantage of her as long as we can. You
What
know.
time does she come in on Thursdays?
She's there about 8:30
Okay,
in the morning till 3:30ish.
okay,
So she sits in Cassie's old office there.
okay.
Broom closet.
Yeah. So I think she's used to that kind of stuff. They just give her a table here and there at the places, but
Okay.
yeah, you should meet her. So
I don't know, don't specifically need a motion on it, but I just wanted to bring it to the floor so we were all on the same page at this point.
Good, thanks.
What we want her to move on moving forward. Is there any other, and she always asks this when I check in with her, is there any other priorities from the board or department heads that she needs to be aware of that we want her to work on?
Well, I would think number 2 on that is she needs to do some training for us, because there were some additional trainings that we needed, but I think that's not as important as the employee handbook right now.
But
those
she,
need
in
to
her
be-
downtime, sometimes she's looking for other little side projects to work on.
We need
for
to
us.
do some of those, because we've lacked of that in the last year or two. So.
Roy, do you have any specific needs at this point?
Not right now, no.
Okay. Mike?
No.
Craig?
no,
Dave?
Oh, good.
Okay. All right, we'll have her just working on the HR manual. And she does have a whole strengths and weaknesses report, which was sent last night to everybody too. So take a look at that and we can help her prioritize that at the next board meeting.
Good.
All right, so that's the update on administration from HR. That will move us into, unless there's any other questions for administration, that'll move us into zoning and economic development. Mike Ladd, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. So the trustees had a public hearing this morning, 7:30 for the zoning amendments. There's 4 amendments. I would like that for consideration and vote today.
Okay.
If you want me to go into detail, I can. It's,
Yeah, I need to be able to, I'm just pulling them up here so I can make the amendment. I just want to read this into record here. All right, so I'd like to make a motion and then you can talk on these, Mike Ladd. Amendment 1, amending zoning map from general commercial to R2 residential medium density. The proposed changes is to change the zoning map from GC general commercial to R2 residential medium density. The amendment consists of 5.99 plus or minus acres and includes the following partial numbers: 04-014-00000002-000, 04-014-00-00-00-001-000, 04-014-00-00-003-000. We have two more, 04-014-00-00-004-001. And finally, 04-014-00-00-004-000. The information provided by the townships include the report as Appendix 1. We need a second for discussion on this.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Open that up for discussion. Mike Ladd, anything you want to say on that First Amendment?
Yeah, the First Amendment is basically up Howe Road. There's a tractor place on 43 and Howe Road. Behind that section going down Howe, going west, this is the area that we're talking about. It's basically a zone general commercial. It's being used as residential, and we don't foresee anything going commercial. So we're recommending the change to residential.
Okay. Any questions on that? It was advertised. There were several public hearings held. Was there any concern with that amendment change during public hearings?
None at all.
And regional planning was comfortable with everything?
They are.
All right. Any questions from the board?
No.
Hearing none, I'll call for roll call for the Amendment 1 change.
All those in favor of Amendment 1 change, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. I would like to make a motion for Amendment 2, amend zoning map from general commercial to R3 residential medium high density. The proposed changes is the change of zoning map from GC general commercial to R3 residential medium high density. The amendment consists of 106.95 plus or minus acres and include 39 partial numbers to save the public. That information was publicly posted. So we'll go with those numbers that are submitted to the board. It is available upon request from the fiscal office. And it is provided as Appendix 1. I need a second for that.
I'll second.
All right, this is Amendment 2. Mike Ladd, can you give us an update on what's going on with this one?
So this one is roughly, like I said, 107 acres roughly. This is all the properties on Brimfield Drive, Howe Road, Sherman Road. It is going from GC. This is the back end of the 43. Anything that's facing on 43 is staying general commercial. Anything beyond this, back on Howe and Brimfield Drive, Sherman, is changing to R3. And that's basically what the homes are existing now. We're just calling them what they are.
Okay. And this was duly advertised. Public hearings were held for this amendment.
Yes.
Regional planning is supportive.
Yes.
And was there any questions or changes requested by the public at your public hearings?
No, not for this.
Okay. Questions from the board?
Good.
No, I have no questions at this point.
Okay, hearing none, roll call.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion, Amendment 2 passed.
I'd like a motion to accept amendment number 3, amending zoning map HC highway commercial to R4 residential high density. The proposed changes is to change the zoning map from HC highway commercial to R4 residential high density. The amendment consists of 11.8 acres and includes the following partials, which can be obtained from the fiscal office. This information was provided by the township, is included in the report as Appendix 1. I need a second for discussion on these properties.
Second.
All right, Mike, where's this one at for the public?
So this is behind the Mexican restaurant on 43. This is all the townhomes and condos that you see in there. Wasn't zoned correctly. We're just calling it what it actually is, which is R4.
Okay, and this was, public hearings were held for this amendment?
Yes,
And regional planning is supportive of the changes?
they are.
And was there any questions, comments, or feedback on Amendment 3 from your public hearings?
No.
All right. Questions from the board?
No question.
Okay.
All those in favor, Mike? Yes. Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right.
For Amendment 3.
Last amendment, amendment number 4, amend the zoning map from GC general commercial to HC highway commercial. The proposed change is to change zoning maps from general commercial to highway or to HC highway commercial. The amendment consists of 35.78 acres and includes following partials, which are available from the fiscal office. This information was provided by the township and is included in the report as Appendix 1. Need a second for discussion.
I'll second.
All right, Mike, give us an update on where these are, because we're going from general commercial to highway commercial.
Yes, so this is basically the hotel area, Beale, Edison, Wood Glen, Cedarwood area. There was a discussion with regional planning at one of the zoning meetings. They recommended splitting the area into HC, R4 and R2. They had several proposals that they came in. We had a very good turnout for this meeting. The residents were very concerned. We listened to each and every resident, went over their specific parcels, and we did make some changes at that meeting, which reflects on this map that you have before you. At the zoning meeting, the Brimfield Township Zoning Commission, it was decided that the area of Edison will be rezoned R2 medium density residential, and north of Edison will be zoned highway commercial, and R4 high density. See attached map. So everything should be located in here, showing the changes of what we did as far as the R2, R4 area. So we recommend those changes as well as regional planning.
All right.
I'd just like to say that what we have here, these 4 changes, actually, we have the Brimfield land use plan going into 2050.
Mhm.
And these changes bring things up to the level to meet those plans for the township.
Correct. Yes. So when we did the land use plan, that was a way for the board to tell the board of trustees to signify to the board of zoning commission and zoning appeals, these are the changes we want to see in the community, act upon them to change the codes so that we get to that direction. And this is one of many amendment hearings that I'm sure we'll have over the next several years.
Over several years, yeah.
As we adjust this so that we can protect and preserve the nature of Brimfield Township. All right. There were public hearings held for this.
Yes,
Regional planning is supportive of these changes at this point.
they are.
Okay. Is there any additional questions from the board on these ones? All right, hearing none, can I get a roll call vote for amendment number 4, please?
All those in favor of amendment number 4, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed. Amendment 4.
Okay.
Thank you for that. That law will take effect in 30 days, and then we have several lot splits. Everybody got pretty anxious about this with the properties, and they already submitted. But that won't take effect till 30 days from today.
Okay. That's good. And this is an important piece just for the public that's listening and that is here. The problem we're finding is residents now, when they go to banks to get loans, if they're not in the right district, the bank is not willing to loan them money to refinance or do different pieces because they're non-conforming. So we're trying to bring the map conforming to what the houses actually are. I think that should help financially for our residents.
And I also think, in adding to that, I think by opening up some of these residential areas, we have people looking into bringing water further down. This will spark that development. Then it's just going to help the GC area coming out. So, next thing I have is I have 3 abandoned properties for trustees to consider. I'd like to obtain search warrants through the county prosecutor's office on 1354 Brimfield Drive, 5305 Mogador Road, and 4545 State Route 43. The one on Brimfield Drive has holes in the roof, windows, stuff is caving in there. Mogador Road was collapsed probably 30 years ago. It's right on the corner of 261 in Mogador. And then we have a new one on 4545 State Route 43, and I am starting to concentrate on 43. We have taken 4 houses successfully down on State Route 43 and cleared the land. We're getting this ready for development as well. This one looks like it's boarded up and vacant, and it looks like it's been that way for a couple of years. So I'd like to obtain search warrants on those.
Okay. Roy, are you seeing any police activity at these locations? Is these abandoned houses, are they causing a nuisance for us at all that we could add? Haven't heard anything. Okay.
This one's been there as long as the restaurant's been.
Yes.
It's been abandoned that long.
Yeah.
And it's looked like that for that one too.
Yeah.
Can't believe it's still
That's
standing.
basically a
Can't believe
cleanup.
someone hasn't torched it.
Right. Okay. I'm waiting for John to pop back in so we can make a motion.
I can do it.
All right. I'd like to we'll do separate motions for these. So I'd first like to make a motion for a search warrant through the county prosecutor's office for 1354 Brimfield Drive.
can't write as fast.
That's fine.
Okay, what is it? What's this address?
1354
Okay,
Brimfield Drive.
got it.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
All right, so this is going to be the initial search warrant for that property. Any questions from the board? Okay, roll call.
Mike, yes. Nick,
Yes,
Sue,
Yes,
okay.
motion passed. Second motion will be a motion for search warrant to the county prosecutor's office.
Okay.
For 5305 Mogador Road,
305 Mogador Road. Okay,
and I'll need a second.
I'll second.
Questions from the board on this property? Hearing none, roll call.
Mike, yes. Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
yes,
okay. Motion passed.
And the next motion is going to be for another search warrant to the county prosecutor's office.
Okay, so you're going both pages. Okay. Search, okay.
It's going to be for 4545 State Route 43.
Okay. Okay,
I'll need a second on that.
I'll second.
All right, questions from the board on this property?
no,
Hearing none, roll call.
Mike, yes. Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
yes,
okay. One more?
No, that's it. That's all of them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll get on, as you know, we do this, we do this relationship with police and fire, health department, building department, as well as ourselves. We go into each one of them, take a look at it if we can. If it's like the one on Mogador, we're not going in. We know it's a cleanup.
Okay.
So, but it's a formality. I'll go before the judge, get the search warrants and start that process, and then we'll take these down if needed.
would any of these, be for the land bank of Portage County?
Yes, and I would be talking to them about one of those. And that would be, and there's also some grants that I'm applying for as well.
Okay.
Take time. But typically, if we take them down and we front the money, we put them on the taxes, and eventually they have to pay it. So
That house on Mogador, is that owned by the people behind it, or is it? do you have any idea?
somebody's still paying taxes on it. Yeah, I don't know who owns it off the top of my head, but yeah, the taxes are current.
That's looked like that for
30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, long time.
I can't believe it just since.
Yeah.
So we have a status conference for 1435 Talmadge Road on April 27th. This is with Mark. He pushed the court system, and I want to thank him because that came a lot quicker than any of our other ones that we put in front of the courts. I plan on attending with Mark that day, and anybody that would like to come as far as the trustees, you're more than welcome to. Just let me know. I don't have a specific time on that day yet. Mark didn't send me that, but I would assume it's like 9:00.
Yeah, if you know for sure, let me know.
Okay. And then we'll get a good handle of what's going to happen there. And I would imagine within a month after that, we'll get to go do it as well.
Okay.
And then on other notes, all these anticipated start date is 5/2 of 22. Valvoline is looking at midsummer of starting. And Lauren now has her notary stamp too, so I thank her for getting that. And that's going to be a big help for us as well.
Do they have the equipment?
She is
Are
the
they
stamp.
ready to go?
She's ready to
Okay,
go.
good.
Yeah.
So if we need anything, we can come
And
over.
then, as well as she should have sent you, and you should have the trustee report also written and sent to you. There's 21 items on there that, try to brief the highlights.
Yep, no, we appreciate that. We have them all here. All right, any questions for zoning today? All right, hearing none, we're moving to road department.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a little heads up. We've been out doing some Dura patching in some areas The weather kind of took us away from that for a little bit. We've been out with the boom mower, cleaning up some of the brushier areas, still working on them.
Dave, did you clean up back here? Any?
What's that?
Did you clean up back here? Okay.
I saw the brush pushed over.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, the brush was pushed up from here when we did that back in the fall.
Oh, okay,
So, yeah, that was when we did that massive cleanup over here in the fall.
okay. So are you guys gonna do the trails when you get a chance?
Nope.
Okay. No, just to make sure they're safe for walking.
No, yeah, well, when weather's permitting.
Okay. Yeah, it's too muddy right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were back through the trails for Aaron's thing at the park for this Friday, and the trails back there are pretty wet too. So, I mean, we made sure everything was off the trails where they could do a walkthrough. But anybody that's at that program better have boots on. So that's pretty gushy. I just want to let the board know, we got the pipe across Sunnybrook Road and the catch basin. We're waiting for the weather to break to get the asphalt patch across there. Right now it's just stone. It won't be that much longer. Once they open it up, we're going to get that completed. We're starting to get equipment ready for spring. Sooner or later we'll be able to start doing something in the spring, other than snow plowing and stuff. And we just got our last of the salt in for the 2021-2022 salt contract, so it's completed. And Kirsten's got the information in, and we're on the list for the 2022-2023 salt contract. So our submittal's already been put in. Now it's just waiting for the bids on that. And after that, that's all I got.
Hey, Dave, you said when you guys ran the pipe under and the camera under and you can only get so far, or?
On
For Estes?
Yes.
Yeah, would you? Okay,
We can't run the machine to trace that pipe.
right.
The guy can't do it if it's raining out, one, because of electronics, and two, it'll shock the crap out of all of us.
So, but you didn't run up into a roadblock in the pipe, did you?
He got the camera in, we couldn't get it pushed any further. It was a hand push camera.
Okay.
It
So
wasn't
that
a
doesn't
mechanical one or,
But that doesn't mean then you have a blockage yet.
well, that pipe's pretty much blocked up. What we're trying to figure out right now on Estes is if I have 500 feet I got to replace, or if I got 3,000 feet to replace, because nobody knows where the easement really goes. So
Okay.
that's what we're searching on now. That's what we're looking at now. Even if I went over there today, I'd tear the living crap out of that whole place. I mean, just to be honest,
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
terrible.
I'd rip everything completely up, and I'd have more money in fixing up than I would to do the job. So I'm just trying to make sure. Well, like now, like Craig's saying with the fences and stuff, we got to order the pipe kind of ahead of time. It ain't like the old days of just going to Core Main and say, hey, I need 1,000 feet of 12-inch. You got to, hey, I got to order it, and hopefully you have it in. So we need to kind of, I don't want to order 1,000 feet of 15-inch pipe, and then all of a sudden it's only 500 feet long. I got 500 feet just sitting here forever. So.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Dave, I know I talked to Craig about this too, with the town center parks field piece. Is there a way that we can get one of your guys out there to slit seat it?
Not until it dries. Yeah, we're gonna split seat it, yeah, but right now it's
Still
the
too
point
bad.
of, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we moved the soccer goals the other day, when I walked through there, we were sinking in 2 inches along the edge, just to measure out soccer goals and stuff.
I
So
wouldn't even mess with it
if we
till it
put the
dries
slit
up.
seater out there now, we'd do more damage. So,
I just want to make sure we keep it at the top of the list so we get it in as soon as we can.
yeah, no, it's on the radar. I mean, next week we're supposed to have some 70-degree days. We need about 4 or 5 really solid days where we don't go truck the whole thing up, so.
Okay. No, I appreciate it. I just want to make sure we get that piece in. And then where are you at with that open position?
Right now, we are still looking.
Okay. All right. Where did we advertise that for that?
Falcon community, that kind of stuff.
Have you gotten a lot of applications?
No, not really.
Can you meet with Danielle tomorrow and see what she can do to try to advertise that, like
Okay,
to a
'cause
more narrow network for you?
I talked to Rochelle some, we're gonna bump it out to a few other places like the Record Courier. There are still some people that look at that.
Right.
Plus, well, of course, now everybody gets the Record Courier on their phone too. I mean, that's how I get it. So, but, and then she's gonna put it out a couple other places. I mean, knock on wood, there's been really good citizens like Bernadette Moore and them kind of people. When they see the ads come out, they throw it out on all over different Facebook sites. So it's not that it's just sitting stagnant at Brimfield Township. It got spread out all over the place. So.
Even if you want to have Rochelle talk with Danielle, I think it'd be worth it just to see what, so that we get a good sampling of people, just to make it a little bit easier.
I mean, my big worry is I don't want to use like an Indeed, because what happens is like I did with the full-time position. I had 25 applications I pretty much threw away because they just wanted to be a truck driver or they were a tow motor operator.
Right.
So I got flooded with a bunch of stuff that didn't help me. I mean,
Well, that's where I think with her specialty, she might be able to narrow that down some for you, so that you don't get flooded. It's at least worth having the conversation.
You know, I'll mention it on Facebook when I do a thing, but there's only 30-some% look at Facebook.
Right,
And then the algorithm only bumps it down lower.
right.
What is it starting at, 1750 or something?
yes, 1750.
God, that is a,
Part-timer, road worker. So, I mean, the thing is, we do have a little bit, I mean, if we open it up to a younger crowd, yeah, you might get them, but I don't feel comfortable putting anybody under 18 on the road. Because their job is mainly going to be like mowing grass, weed eating, flagging traffic, working with me, with the guys, you know, just filling in a spot somebody's off. So we do have one part-time worker coming back in the middle of May. Tom Weiss, who worked with us before.
we need two.
So he's a really good worker, but it's the second cause. We're just having trouble. I mean, I hate to say it this way, if it all else fails, it fails, and we just have one part-time, we'll be all right. I mean, we'll make it work.
What about any of those older guys that used to work for us?
They all either retired, or moved on to full-time positions and stuff. So
Are you okay if you didn't get somebody to start till after graduation, if we push it out to some of the high school kids?
oh
Better
no,
graduate.
that's how we got time last year. We waited until school was over. I mean, last year we put the same thing out. We didn't get no response.
Yeah, let me see. Let me push it at the school. I'll reach out to some of the coaches and see if there's some good kids there.
Well, I mentioned that maybe talking to, the superintendent or anybody just to.
I wasn't trying to push through the sports programs, because the coaches know the kids pretty well.
Yeah.
Recommendations.
I mean, it's a great summer job.
But
Yeah,
you're just
right before
looking
you go.
for the graduating seniors.
Yeah, it's only for graduating seniors.
Yeah, because we don't want the 16-year-old out.
I don't think we're getting the message out there. I mean, I know kids don't want to work, but there are some kids that want to work.
Well, it's a great way to make some money before you head off to college
Yeah,
or
yes.
wherever. So. Okay.
My $3 an hour when I was.
Is there any other questions from the board? From the board for Road? All right, nothing? All right, thank you, Dave. Parks and Rec.
I do have a Parks and Rec update from Erin. A couple things here. She held a geocaching 101 program on Friday, March 25th. She will continue advertising those for the opportunities in the park and community interest. Held the first talk around guest speaker series program with Lynn Vogel from Portage County Soil and Water spoke. It was on gardening, birds, and butterflies. All participants seemed to enjoy the program and giving feedback, and we're given free plants to take home.
Was there any numbers?
5 participants to that one. She will have an evening amphibian walk this Friday, April 8th from 8 to 9:30 at Lions Park. Participants will learn how to identify various native frogs, salamanders, appearance, and sounds. Also, she had finished gathering information for the Eagle Scout program that I will present next from Jackson Froman. And we can talk about that next, but she has been working in her part-time role pretty hard at keeping these programs up and running along with the rentals and everything else. So she's doing a good job with that. Do you want to talk about the Eagle Scout project?
Sure.
Okay. So presented before me, and I can send this out to you guys, and I won't go over the whole thing, but typically we have the Eagle Scouts work with Parks and Rec because we have that full-time program now, which they did. Then it came back to me. They would like to put a fire pit up at the Cranberry Creek Park in lieu of the burn barrel that is up there now as a project. There's some stuff here that doesn't meet our stipulations that we would have to work with them. I guess I'll just go ahead and go with my opinion as the fire chief that even though legally and done right would be okay if it meets our stipulations, there is concern of being in kind of a non-monitored area that would we have trash and what would our liability be for a fire pit? So I would be open to discussion on
I'm
that.
worried about a freaking grass fire. I mean, you have a fire pit, anyone in the mother can.
Right, I'm not saying here's better, but if Dave's always here, it's a little more monitored than up here. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Personally, my thoughts are they need to think of another project.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kinda
And I
agree,
thought we had a
but-
list of projects that Cassie had created that she could share with the Boy Scouts.
She was supposed to.
She may have. And I'm not saying she didn't. I don't.
Right, I'm
I
just saying
don't
that
have
may
that
be,
information.
if we go back to them, that's the way you go back to them, is not just no, but hey, these are the things that the community really needs right now. Because otherwise we end up with things that we don't want or create risk for us.
And that
Again-
definitely creates a risk.
I guess I'm a little afraid up there. I mean, we already get the tables carved all the time. It's just a little more open for,
You're gonna find bottles of beer
yeah, so.
empty.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you guys have to make that decision. It would be all at their cost.
What's your thoughts, Sue?
Well, I do know, I've been working with the Boy Scouts now for many years and on these Eagle Scout projects. And I do know one of the steps that the Boy Scout has to do is to make a presentation of his project request before the board. For him to have the experience of talking to and making that request. So I don't know, instead of us just blanketly saying no today based on a piece of paper, you may want him to have that experience of making a presentation. Even if we say yes or no, I think he has the right to make his presentation. And I'm sure he gets credit for making that presentation. That's
Right.
just a thought.
Right. I just didn't know if it was worth kind of giving them feedback of, hey, doesn't fit with us. Do you want to come make a presentation on something
Right,
different?
and give him
Something
the
that-
option if
something
he'd
that
want to
would
have that experience. I think Cassie does have other things that
She said she has a whole
that he
list.
could do. I'm concerned, I would be
Go ahead.
concerned in having a burning
No.
pit, that could be like 3 or 4 feet around, of people just coming in and putting stuff in there and burning it and nobody being around it.
Right.
And then who supplies the wood? I mean,
Right.
Is that another thing that the road department
Well,
has to do? I mean,
the
it's
big
crazy.
concern is leaving it unattended. People
Oh,
come burn
hell
their trash
yeah.
and take off now.
They're gonna take the wood and take off.
Yeah. My personal opinion is I appreciate the outside the box thinking, but I think maybe we redirect them and say, hey, here's how to do some research and prep. Why don't you come talk with the Parks Department about projects that we're looking at?
Something that would correlate with Cassie's doing, because her vision was to start working on the trails on Cranberry Creek. I mean,
Right.
maybe there's
There's lots of
opportunity
opportunities there. It's just,
there. So let's just make sure it all fits together. I mean,
Well, I
nothing against this guy.
I think another thought that Cassie had with the burning pit over there, that in the wintertime when they have the sled ride hill, people would be able to have a fire pit there for heat, when the kids are going up and down and everything. But
You like to do at Virginia Kendall where they got that big, huge burner. But then again,
yeah,
but then you gotta have the material and stuff.
somebody's got to be there for it.
Tires.
Oh, boy.
So do you would you be the one to get back with them?
So I don't
Well,
think there
I'll
needs to
pass
be
it
a,
back to Aaron.
yeah, I don't
Okay.
think there needs to be a motion on it at this point. I think
No.
you give the feedback to Aaron to share with them.
Okay,
And then-
but the trustees are not interested in this.
I would say that.
That's what I need to know.
Yeah, I would direct him back to the list of projects that we have.
And in fairness, I will back Sue on this. I think they talked about this being on the list. I think you guys said that.
Yeah, this was on the list.
There was,
So-
yeah, like a warming instead of the burn barrel.
I think it
having
was
a
his
fire
idea,
pit
mine.
for-
For
For
one,
the, for just sled ride.
So,
I just have concerns from a safety standpoint that's not monitored.
okay,
Put a lock on
do
it.
we want,
Mike, are you good with us kicking this back to him and
Yep.
saying we have some concerns from a safety standpoint?
okay, I will pass this back to Aaron and guide her where we're going.
Okay.
And again, I would reiterate what you said. Yes, when it comes to that point, we want the Boy Scouts to come present.
Right.
So we just weren't there yet. So, okay. That is all I had. Do you guys have any direction for me, for Aaron? She's about 24 hours a week right now, but
Touch truck is the
Keep
big
it up.
focus right now. Like
and
you
she
and I
already
talked.
talked, and she talked to you on
I
that.
talked to, but then you and I talked afterwards. We need to come up with some activities. So she needs to reach out to the Lions Club, or whatever it is.
Right.
And you said we're lacking on food vendors?
We got one food vendor, I believe. Is what
So
she
when I
said.
do this thing, you want me to put something on there about we're looking for food vendors?
I mean, I wouldn't mind having a second food truck here. Just
I know.
I don't want more than 2 or 3 because then it creates too much
So
competition.
who'd she get?
She's got, I think it might have been Big D's. I think it's a barbecue place she has right
Well,
now.
who was the guy that was down at the Brimfest that really wanted to help out?
That was Big D.
That's Big D?
He's good.
Yeah,
I like-
yeah,
I like
Yeah,
it.
he lives in Brimfield too.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Plus
Yeah.
his food's good.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for parks? Okay, hearing none, we'll go into cemetery. The only thing we have is an update on here on the cemetery project. John, do you want to talk about that, or Sue, or how do we want to?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. One of the other things that we bringing up with the American Rescue Plan dollars is to handle our concern at the cemetery in regards to space issues that we have. During COVID, we had an upkick and probably doubled the amount of burials that we had back there. We do have column burials that are there now that are kind of reducing some of the burials for cremains, but we pretty much have about 5 or 6 years left of the Brimfield Restland Cemetery before we have no lots back there. So we currently have the opportunity, and we've been looking into it with Mike Ladd's been helping a lot with this as well, and Mark Adetti, is the 8-acre parcel behind the cemetery that is part of the Redwood development. Mike, what's the name of that development down there again?
That's right. That's right.
Is it called? Okay, it was the housing section of that, which is stalled now and not in the process. So we're trying to acquire those 8 acres of land back there. With the combination of giving a discount to them for green space requirement, we're kind of trying to work the deal out back there to acquire that so that we can add on to the cemetery for additional burials, which will cover us for 60, 70 years back there. There also is other property that's back there, and that's why I had to step out for 1 second because I just wanted to get his answer for it for a minute. The Victory Baptist Church also has a lot back there that kind of butts up next to that. Pastor has always been the absolute no, I'm not interested in selling it, but he's interested to talk. But what we need to do is we need to resolve our cemetery issue because if we don't, and this opportunity goes away with that land, we're just going to have to shut it down in 6, 7 years and then find another place to bury people in Brimfield. So that's where we're in the process of getting those final numbers together. Mike, you didn't hear back from anybody from Mark or anything from the other side yet, did you, Mike Ladd?
No,
Okay.
I don't think, I think Mark was waiting to make sure, everybody was good with the number.
Yeah, I talked to Mark. Yeah.
I talked to Mark last night also,
Yeah, he's
so I
just
have some updates for the executive session.
Okay. So that's where we are with that.
Did we get rough numbers on how many sites we can get on an acre roughly?
There's about 150. Is that what you would think, Chick? I think that's what, yeah, because that's what Rochelle called the people from the monument company, and that's what they gave us as an estimate.
Okay.
And we did about
Pre-COVID, how many do we
50
usually?
or so.
Okay.
Actual burials, but people purchased the lots back there.
So 50, so what do we have after COVID?
About 80.
About 8?
Yeah.
So we still have 1,200, right?
Well, but some of those lots are already sold for people we don't have anything to sell to anybody. So if we did have somebody that didn't have a lot and all those were sold and they passed away, we wouldn't have anywhere to bury.
Well, while Chick's here, I just wanted to ask him one thing
That's
about
fine.
the old cemetery. The old cemetery,
West Lawn.
is there any more room over there that we could possibly use?
They probably could do some over there yet, but you have to apply to the state and get that
Reopen.
reopened.
How much do you guess was there? I mean,
would
a
have
couple
no idea.
acres
I'd
or?
have to go over and look again.
I
But
would
you gotta
guess an
be
acre and a half.
careful because there's some burials over there, there's no markers.
Right.
You're going into
But
that.
the property next to it, the
Uh,
farm, you know who that guy was?
No, I don't.
That cemetery
The
took
one
us
that,
a death trap over getting out of that project. That's,
The new section of cemetery out there, there's still room for a couple, for some lots out there, you know that.
yeah, we have about 6 years we've estimated to be able to sell lots back there, and then we're gonna be out.
It wasn't totally marked.
Yep, and we've looked into that. It's just that we have the opportunity to purchase something that'll
Which would be a
prolong
good,
the cemetery, but we're gonna run out of space.
be a good idea if you could do it.
Right.
Okay.
And to mention with that, with the number of lots that we would sell in a year, what we're finding now is a lot of that money that we're getting in from the square is actually we're getting money in from purchasing the ink cremain spots in the column burial. So we're gonna find that anybody that usually was burying cremains in a lot back there, because they had to buy the whole lot, correct? They're not doing that anymore because the cheaper option is to go into the column
I
burial.
wonder
So
if any of them sell the lot back.
I don't know if it's an option, they're allowed to.
Are we up to any more? Are we about 8 or so, you said?
Then the cremains?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I haven't asked her in a week or so what we've got. But the other plans for that is that, we have a spot for 2 more common burials there. And then once we get to a certain level of sales in the one, we're gonna purchase a second one, just to fill that up, but
I know, it took us so long to get the last one. I
it
mean,
was all COVID related stuff too, they couldn't get it
I don't
in.
know if it's prudent if we just, it seems the more you build, the more it's noticed. So I don't know if we have the extra money, if we.
Well, we had the plan in the cemetery that once we sold half of it, we'd have enough money to buy
How many
another.
spots do we have?
There's 75 common burials.
So I think we get closer to that 75, or that 50% mark that we look at it.
Yeah, I mean,
Start making that
just
process.
realizing how long it takes to get one,
I think that was just that was a COVID delay. I don't think that's the norm. Because we were supposed to get it in October of the year before that, and then we didn't get it until
Right.
the spring or whatever it was, or July of last year. But if we ever wanted to, in the new area back there, if we did get new land back there, there's nothing saying we don't put another common burial spot in the back there.
Right.
One thing that I did want to bring up on this, just in the whole town center section or concept, is that whole Redwood housing development right there now is connected to the town center via the cemetery. Not that we want a parade going through there, but if you ever go, when I go to visit my father, I've been standing around, there's people there all day long walking through that cemetery. And that just gives them a spot to walk from there to the Pizza Hut into the whole soccer. It kind of connects that area with the other housing
We
development.
go to the microbrew for a nice sandwich on the roof.
Well, and we would also have a road. We would have a road out to 18 over there that pops out right over off of where the restaurant is.
Right.
So it's kind of internally putting a little walk path that people can get through.
It's good, just as long as getting everything hooked together is big.
That's what and we also looked, and I know David brought up fill and all that, but we kind of looked, there'd be an area there where we just have to put a small retaining wall and then fill there with steps going down.
But you or Dave or someone was talking about doing a walkabout there.
Yeah, anytime you guys want to go back.
We should
I
do a
drove over there
walkabout.
yesterday and was taking a look around a little bit. It does seem like it does dip down a lot.
That's where the wall would be, and then we'd have steps to go down to the other level on the other side, then it goes up over the hill, but that section where the garage is, and then around the corner to the left, that is the prime area that's there.
Right.
And again, our plans were to eventually tear down the cemetery building and move it somewhere other, because it's getting close to the end of life for that building, so and then that area where the building is prime cemetery burial area as well, and we could move the building to another area that's not gonna be used that much.
Okay.
So, but that's my update on that, sorry it took so long.
That's okay. All right, any questions on the cemetery project?
Sue, did I get everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just want everybody to know that John and I sit down and hammered out a lot of stuff with this. He makes a much better presentation with his presentation than what I
Well,
could do.
thank you, Sue.
Thank you, John.
That'll move us into fiscal then. We have a liquor permit.
We have 2, actually. I don't have the official one here with me. The copy, I have one, but we just got one and Kirsten just emailed me. It's just it's a transfer of the liquor permit, the C at the BP, or at the Giant 454 location. That's the BP that's there. They're transferring the license from Amaya to Giant, Ohio, doing business as Giant 554. So we have to
Okay,
ask
John.
if.
So I got a copy of it too in the mail. I just brought it.
Is that the one that you
Yeah,
got?
that's the one that came in the
Okay.
mail.
Okay, so that's the one we just got by email. So we have to ask if we want a hearing at this location to
So
fight their transfer.
I will make a motion to accept a hearing with the liquor control for Giant.
Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Now we can, now.
Yeah, I have a question there. I'd like that clarified more as to who has the permit now and who they're transferring it to.
Because the second one, we have a second one that's the same thing, but it's Pizza Hut. They're just transferring names is all they're doing. It's the same
Yeah.
C license for beer and wine. They're just transferring it to a different name. So it's not a new license, Sue.
This one's not a new license.
just a transfer.
Transfer?
Yep.
Okay.
And so is the Pizza Hut one that Nick has.
So this will be a second, but this is the current motion is this one from
Oh, this
AMA
one.
4397 Inc. to Giant Ohio LLC is the transfer of the
Okay,
license.
and the second one is Pizza Hut.
Correct.
So
They're
what's the
just
first one
transferring
there?
names.
That
That
doesn't
one's
have
the
a name on it.
BP gas
Yeah, so
station.
it just has an address. It's the BP gas station going from Amaya 4397 Inc. to Giant Ohio
Oh, the
LLC.
BP. Okay. I gotcha.
So the motion we have on the floor is for the Giant BP transfer that we request a hearing. You guys ready for a vote?
Yes.
Mike, all those in favor, Mike?
No.
Nick?
No.
Sue?
No.
Okay, motion failed.
Then I'd like to make another motion for a public hearing for the transfer of SFR X Holdings to Akron Pizza Inc. for their liquor permit.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike?
No.
Nick?
No.
Sue?
No.
Okay, motion failed. Okay, that's that. Thank you for that. The other thing that I had out there was the wire transfer of the Edson property. I found this out yesterday from Sabrina that they won't take their title company per Ohio Revised Code can't take a check for anything over $10,000. It has to be a wire transfer, and they can't get out of that. Our Ohio Revised Code through our auditor says any payment that we send out has to be by a check signed off by 2 out of the 3 trustees and the fiscal officer. So I contacted Kevin Head, who is our head auditor at the state of Ohio, yesterday and explained it. And he said as long as I had a motion from the trustees to say that it was okay to send the wire transfer via the check to meet the Ohio Revised Code for the transfer of funds for real estate property, that he would be fine with it. And then I would write it up in the notes. So what you had in that check before I had it done, you guys, some of you were in signing checks.
Yeah.
I had the $60,000 check, which was for the 2.5 acre lot over here. We're going to have to avoid that if we pass that resolution. And then I'm going to set up a wire transfer from Chase directly to Bennett Land Title, who then takes care of the process with them.
Okay.
FYI on that as well, where we've been with that, why it's been being delayed a little bit. There was a transfer on debt deed that was part of that they had to go find multiple people. And Ed knew about this, but there were grandparents of grandparents, and then they had to find, Sabrina had a whole big mystery that they figured out to get those people to sign off on that deed. Because there was a specific transfer on debt from this person, it went to somebody else, and it was just a weird thing. So that finally all got taken care of. So Ed's not upset that he hasn't got it. He knows that that's all under the process.
So you need a motion?
A motion to allow me to send a wire transfer for $60,000 to Bennett Land Title.
Okay, I will make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Any questions?
No. Can we just make sure that we note in the meeting minutes that this was under advisement of state auditor?
Oh, yeah.
Please.
Kevin Head, his name's going to be all over it. Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
motion passed. Thank you. That's all I have from the fiscal.
Anything else from fiscal for fiscal?
Nope.
Hearing none. We do have executive session. I need that executive session paperwork. John, if you have a chance. Before we go into that though, because I know some of our attendees like to leave, I will open it up for the good of Brimfield Township. Questions, comments, concerns? All right. I would like to make a motion to convene an executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G for the purpose of considering the following matters. Number 2, to consider the purchase of property for public purposes or for the sale of property at competitive bidding. If premature disclosure of information will give an unfair competitive or bargaining advantage to a person whose personal private interest is too adverse to the general public's interest. This will include in the executive session, the full board, the fiscal officer, and I would like to also include Craig. And do we need zoning in there or not?
Yeah, I would like.
And Mike Ladd. Right. I need a second on that
I will
motion.
second that, Nick. Okay, all those in favor? Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
We are adjourned at 9:30 to executive session.
We're all on the same page right now. He'll let me know when we're live. All right, we're back on. All right, so we're out of executive session. In response to executive session, I'd like to make a motion to move forward with land negotiations to purchase additional parcels of land for the expansion of the Township Westland Cemetery. I need a second for, all
I will second it.
right, this will allow,
I think Sue said, did you say second, Sue,
No.
too?
yeah, Sue seconded it.
Okay. Let's put her on there.
This will allow, John, for you to start the negotiations and bring back a final price to the board for the land for Westland Cemetery.
Okay.
Any questions from anybody on this? We had talked about the cemetery project earlier in the meeting. Okay, hearing none, roll call.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
Second, I would like to make a motion to move forward with negotiations for the purchase of township green space for the potential expansion of a library system in Brimfield Township.
I'll second that.
Just for clarification, this is that library discussion that we had. This would be the township acquiring additional parcel of land and or building to bring a potential library system into Brimfield Township. This just allows for the initial negotiations to bring final pieces back to the board. We talked about the library project at the earlier part of the meeting. Any questions on this?
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Good, John. As you're writing the notes, this is also to help with the expansion of the town center, which has been a big piece of our 2050 land use plan. Both parcels will allow for this, and it brings that concept that a lot of the residents have asked for.
Green space land acquisition, is that what we called it?
Let's call it township center land.
We have to move forward with
Town center.
possible
Town
town
center.
center.
Land and building acquisition.
Is that Mexican restaurant open anymore at the plaza?
It is, but I don't know how. Yeah, they still have their signs, like they have like 2 people there. Move forward with possible town center land and building acquisition.
Move forward with negotiations is what I would say.
Say that again, sorry.
Move forward with negotiations. Because that will authorize our real estate agent to start open talks up
We need to say that on both of them. Move forward
Yes.
on.
with negotiations.
Move forward with negotiations for town center land and building acquisitions.
Correct.
Okay. All right, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
All right, is there anything else for the good of the order?
Nope.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'm gonna make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Aye, aye.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
We're adjourned at 10:14.
Okay, perfect. 12 minutes to my next meeting.